Go ahead.
All right, welcome to our midweek edition of Two Guys on the Mic. I'm one of your hosts, Big Sean.
And I'm RP. What's going on, Big Sean? How you been, man?
Not much, man. To be honest with you, completely exasperated and disgusted right now what's going on with our football team. I never thought we'd be here again. We're going to get into that. I know I'm kind of just going off the cuff, but ever since Sunday, and I wasn't there for the last show, but ever since Sunday losing to Pittsburgh, I've been disgusted. And it's not so much just about the loss, but all the stuff that's going on around the team. And we're going to get into that heavy today because there's a lot going on. So, let's go ahead and get into it, man. So basically, I'm sure everybody knows about the OBJ situation and Baker Mayfield and all of that. And, it's a mess. And both me and RP, we've talked about this, and many Browns fans have talked about this on the radio shows and everything. We thought that we were done with the dysfunction. We thought we were done with the locker room shenanigans, that the front office did a good job of picking guys that, and not to say that they haven't done a good job picking guys. I mean, they've got the talent in here, but we thought that they got guys in here with a certain mentality that were team first and not me first. And now I'm finding out otherwise. And basically now that all this stuff is coming out, now the season makes sense to me. Because before it wasn't making no sense. Like, why is everybody out of sync? Why is the offense out of sync? Why is the defense out of sync? Making uncharacteristic, silly penalties, getting dumb personal fouls, which shows lack of discipline. And we all thought Stefanski was a stickler for discipline and everybody being on the same page. And now the Browns are painting themselves into a corner on several fronts. And so, what are your thoughts initially? You don't necessarily start with the whole OBJ thing. Just where are you in terms of the state of the team, the state of the locker room, the team chemistry, things of that nature?
It's just weird, and it gets weirder like by the day, and then it gets weirder by the hour.
By the hour, right?
It's like little stuff you because I kind of thought certain things, and I've been saying certain stuff all year long about the team. I know I had lofty expectations, much like most of the fans did, and let's be honest, much like the players and the front office and the coaches. All of them had high expectations, but who wouldn't and who doesn't when you have you've taken a really good first step, and now you have the intentions and the plans to take a bigger second step, or at least a sturdy second step. Not really thinking about taking a step back. You're thinking things are moving forward. For the first time in the time that Baker had been here, he'd had the same coach, the same system, the same, pretty much the same players around him. So the thought was always about moving forward. We did a really good job in drafting and signing free agents. It all looked smart. It all looked like it all lined up. And then, the season started, and we didn't play awful, but we still, I think the Kansas City game, we did some stuff we didn't expect to have happen. Then we went into the next game, and even though we won, we still were kind of like you said, something was still amiss. And even though Baker was playing good, I've been pointing this out all week too. Before OBJ came back, Baker had maybe more pass yards, but his numbers weren't astounding. He had, the first 2 weeks, this dude had 1 touchdown and 2 picks. Like, those aren't superb numbers through 2 weeks, especially with 312 yards and you didn't score a touchdown, throw one touchdown, and in 3 weeks you hadn't thrown a touchdown to a wide receiver. So it was some stuff that was just weird. It was just weird. I don't know if it was chemistry stuff going on back then, because listening to some of the reporters, none of them reported anything bad happening or bad being said in the locker room by one person or another person.
Yeah, but
And
you know what though? The media is not allowed in the locker rooms right now either because of COVID.
they're not, but at the same time, while they're not allowed in the locker room, you always got a locker room snitch.
Yeah,
You always got somebody who's anonymous source, whoever, Mr. Source is. It's always an anonymous source that'll leak this or leak that. Like listening to the Browns players today, you wouldn't have even known that there was something that was happening.
Yeah, right.
Joel Bitonio didn't sound like he was tripping. John Johnson sounded like he was about to go kick it with OBJ after practice. So
yeah, they were all sounded like they were a little bit blindsided by what happened.
A lot of them probably were. If you think about it, by the time the stuff started coming out for them, by the time the stuff started coming out for us, they were in practice already.
Mm-hmm.
So when OBJ got to the building, from the way I understand it, when OBJ got to the building for practice, one of the reasons, because we already know what the other reason was that they asked him to leave, was because his agent had already called and said, "Hey man, we need to be traded. We want out. We done."
Okay.
So the team knew that. OBJ shows up at the job. He was already there, I think. Matter of fact, not just showing up, but he was already there. And dude was like, "Yeah, it ain't working." And we've all said that. I like Odell. I do. I like Baker. But this ain't working. And it ain't got nothing to do with me disliking anybody, or it has nothing to do with me wanting people gone. You already know where I stand on this. If you can't hit a guy that's open, that's a you problem, not a him problem.
Right.
But regardless of that, if this is going to be your guy, then you need to get rid of him. So there's so many layers of confusion in this situation for me, because it's too many pieces that I thought were lined up. I'm actually finding we're cut with a jigsaw, dog. Like it's not completely lining up like I thought it was. Shit, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I'm thinking we just got a little bit of a problem here. We can fix that, iron that out. We got a little bit of a problem there. We can fix that, iron that out. And that's just on the field. So when it comes to whatever might be happening relationship-wise between players or between players and coaches, I didn't even think any of that stuff existed. But now I'm realizing I'm about to use this, one of Sean's favorite damn words over the past 20-something years. Now I'm realizing that there are factions in the locker room.
Yeah, and real quick too, I don't think that there's beef in the locker room.
Oh no, I don't think so either.
I think there's just agendas.
It's factions.
Yeah, and some guys are more concerned with social media stuff, looking good, playing for the, people playing for, there's a lot of guys on 1-year deals, so they're trying to get their next contract, which sometimes can work in your favor, but other times you can be like, look, I need to get me. So, I can get a better deal. Something I was about to say and I forgot that quick. But I think they're just not necessarily playing as a team. When you look at that defense, I knew it's going to take a little while for the defense to gel. But but these guys are completely out of sync in the secondary. Like, what are y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and that may be guys, trying to be a hero or something like that, and it's just not.
And I've heard that a couple of times, like with Ronnie Harrison. I've heard people say him specifically. So I'm not saying this. I've heard on like through sports talk that people think that he's playing hero ball because is he on a 1 year? I think they.
I'm not sure. I know they re-signed him, but I don't know what his deal
Yeah,
is.
I don't know what the structure of his contract is either. But I just heard them saying things like that, and like, but it ain't always happening when Ronnie Harrison is on the field. It ain't like it's always Ronnie Harrison.
Right.
So, these broken plays, I still ultimately I still attribute the play on the field or the lack of play or the lack of concentration or the lack of focus on the field. While it is still a player's thing, I still put a lot of that onus on the coaches. So to suggest that these guys are missing these assignments or playing hero ball or doing whatever defensively, I put that on Joe Woods, just like Baker being out of sync and being out of rhythm and not being able, like, to me, I hate. I'm gonna speak on the elephant in the room right now. I hate how that video came out. I don't particularly care for it coming out through, even if it wasn't his dad. Apparently, this video already existed because his dad
Right.
retweeted.
Yeah.
But having him having retweeted it basically is still going to have the same effect, whether he chopped down the film and pieced it together himself, or whether he saw it and retweeted it, because that's what happened, or posted it on Instagram or whatever. I don't like how that came out because, again, my initial thought when I started getting those, because I got it sent to me in text, DMs, and email. Everybody's like, "Man, did you see this? Did you see this?" I didn't even want to see it. It pissed me off because, again, I've been trying not to have this on my team.
Yeah, you knew where that was going. Soon as I heard about, I didn't watch the video. I haven't watched the video. But as soon as I heard about it, I was like, "Oh, this is about to go off the rails."
And I didn't watch it when I first got it either. I didn't watch it at all because I was just pissed off about it. And it, again, I'm like, man, it don't matter how good or bad this video is. This is just going to be a bad look, period. And now we got this crap going on. So that was, and honestly, if you look at the tone of the IG post and Facebook post, that's basically where I was at. I hadn't looked at that film at all. I was just like, man, here we go again. The Browns is browning again. This is the stuff that I didn't want to be bothered with no more.
Right.
It's just frustrating. Now, what made me end up watching the film was the radio. I was listening to the radio, and the guys that were commentating on the radio were like, the hosts were like, yeah, well, I did watch the video, and it's pretty clear. He ain't lying about this and blah, blah, blah. And the way they were talking about it, I was like, so what's on the damn video? Like, what is it? You know what? I'm going to watch it. And I watched it. And I probably made it through about 4, maybe 5 minutes, and I had to cut it off. Because part of me was like scared. Part of me was like, flabbergasted at it. So while I didn't like this dude putting this out, I also didn't like what I saw on the video. Like having seen the video and then having all this stuff happen, I have way more questions and way more conspiracy thoughts than I have actual answers or actual great feelings about this entire team going forward. It's the weirdest thing ever. But I'll tell you what, I'm super, super, super glad that I decided a couple weeks ago to lower my expectations. Now, my expectations wasn't low enough for this kind of stuff,
Right.
but it was low enough for me to look at that video and understand that, like I said, this ain't just OBJ, and that's it. That it's your fault. All this is your fault. Blah blah blah. It ain't just Baker. It's your fault. Blah blah blah. It ain't just Kevin Stefanski. It's your fault. But it's, hey man, it's your fault. Hey, it's your fault. Hey, it's your fault. And actually, it's a couple other people's fault in this thing too. And that is where my problem exists. That's where my problem exists, because even with OBJ out of here, I'm pissed at the Browns for not getting him out of here before now.
Now
Like,
maybe
what
they
was y'all
didn't.
waiting on?
Look, let me put this out there. Maybe the Browns didn't trade him because in the film they said, well, he's getting open. He ain't doing nothing wrong. We have to, fix it somehow. And maybe they kept trying to figure out how to fix it. And for whatever reason, it wasn't working. Now the Browns kind of came on, and this is where it's going to start to get messy now, because now you're going to start the pettiness and going tit for tat. So now, the Browns are feeding information to other reporters. I don't know if it was Jay Glazer. He was one of those dudes. And they come out and say, well, just because, he's opening that film, I mean, he's doing the right thing, basically saying that he's freelancing routes, which some people are acknowledging. They say, yeah, well, he just does that from time to time. You know what I'm saying? But now, here we go. You know what I'm saying? Now you get information. It's always, three sides to the story, their side, his side, and the truth is somewhere, in the middle. But we don't have time for, I mean, I'm like, all right, Brown. So now just make a decision on what you want to do and go with it. They don't need to go on tit for tat or trying to prove who's right and who's wrong, or try to make him look like the bad guy. I know that they pissed. I know Barry and Haslam and Stefanski are pissed to the point of pissivity.
Yeah, they probably mad as hell.
But you have to don't fall into the trap of going tit for tat with a guy or try to win the PR battle. It is what it is at this point. Like, we all know that he was wrong for that. But here's my thing too, and where I kind of really start getting, disgusted with things. Because I gave a lot of stuff a pass. And the reason why I gave a lot of stuff a pass is because we talked about this before. The Browns have been so bad for so long. You deal with all that negativity for so long. When we finally starting to get good and starting to turn the table, I don't want to wallow in negative. I want to see the positives and stuff. It's like, okay, yeah, this ain't right, but it ain't as bad as it was, So that's kind of the attitude I've taken, kind of since we started this podcast. But one thing that I'm noticing with the Browns, no matter what personnel we have, this team for some reason cannot stand prosperity. They start believing in their own hype. And in a city like Cleveland, I understand this is a hard city to play football in. Because when we love you, we love you. These players are treated like gods when we playing well. You feed into their egos. I'm sure we are blowing up their egos. They go in a restaurant, probably eating for free. They the toast of the town. But our fans are fickle, and we will turn on you quick, and it don't take long.
They don't take. They already kind of started against you to begin with. Just so
already right. Exactly. It doesn't take long, and when we go in. And now with social media, and the Browns are social media heavy, they read everything. They don't have the maturity to say, hey, I'm not reading this stuff, or if I do read it, I'm not going to take it personal, because fans are just being fans. They venting, or they may be trolling, and stuff like that. But Baker and Odell and Jarvis and all those guys, they read all that stuff and fall into that trap.
Yeah.
And here's the thing where Baker is wrong. Baker was wrong for having his wife tweet out stuff. Well, I know he didn't have her do it, but she did it. And I don't know if he checked her or not, but that's not.
He couldn't have, because she continues to do it.
that's wrong. Anytime you have these family members coming out doing that stuff, you got to put that in the bud. Now, maybe he talked to his teammates about it and squashed it. I don't know, but he was wrong on that front for starting, especially, she took a shot at the fans first. I'm like, all right, that ain't that bad. But then she posted a video, I think, of players dropping passes and stuff like that. I know Tom Brady's wife had did that before when he was in New England. She did something similar. But it's like, shut up. Go sit down somewhere. It ain't your business to be involving yourself, because all you doing is making stuff worse.
You're just a football player's wife, and I don't want to make it sound like that because I know people will get pissed off that I said it. But in this realm, that's what you are at this point. He plays football. Whatever you do for a living, I'm sure he ain't showing up at your job talking crap. You know what I mean?
Stand up for himself. Right.
Yeah,
now, here's the second thing that Baker did that was wrong. When he leaked that injury information, that the Browns didn't want him to put out to Jay Glazer. Now, I'm speculating the reason why he did that is, number one, he's catching heat from the fans, catching heat from the national media. Mm-hmm. He's also playing for a contract.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, look, so he's trying to say without saying, hey, look, I'm hurt. Cut me some slack. That's wrong. Don't do that. Don't go against the organization. If it's like that, then just sit down for a while. Period. So now you set the precedent with that. So now you rubbing your organization the wrong way. And you probably now your players are probably, your teammates probably looking at it like, man, why, what's going on with that? So that little petty stuff, and that just showed that's selfishness. That's that me first mentality. I don't think Baker's always like that, but but that's little stuff like that start creeping in, that can start fracturing, the team chemistry and stuff like that, man.
It's the agendas. It ain't necessarily, like you say, some hatred towards people per se.
Right.
But you want to, you start to have your agenda, because trust me, Baker wants to get as close to $40 million a year as possible.
Right.
And how does that happen? Well, truthfully, I would like to think that happens by throwing touchdowns, not, by doing some of the, I'm the most accurate guy around. I don't,
right.
That's fine. Accuracy works, but you don't score off accuracy. You score on touchdowns. So if you got, again, this is just me being me, thinking what I feel is sensible anyway. If I got a guy that's open, I'm gonna throw it to the guy that's open so I can get this touchdown, and I can make it look like make this thing easier on yourself, basically.
Right. Now Keyshawn Johnson was on earlier. I think he was on a Rizzo show, and he made a really, really good point. First of all, Keyshawn tried to make it sound like he was better than what he actually was, but that's another story for another day.
He always thought he was. Even when he was actually pretty good, he thought he was awesomely great.
Right. But he said you have two types of offensive systems. You have offensive systems where you design plays around your star players to make sure that they're featured in the offense, and get their touches. And then you have other systems where the players have to play, within that system. It's not going to feature one guy. And Stefanski system is that system. I remember I think you had said something about that. No, you posted something on Facebook and something in terms of his system doesn't, here's the thing, that he needs star players or something like that. And that kind of goes to what you said, where his system is, and Baker kind of said that during his press conference too yesterday, where it's just that we're playing within the system. I'm not targeting or looking for one guy. I'm looking based on, my progression, who's open, where this guy's supposed to be in a certain place or whatever. And that's what's happening. All right. We had some technical difficulties there. We do apologize, but we're back. What I was talking about before was like the systems. and that Keaton Johnson was on one of our local radio shows this morning, and he was saying you have two different types of systems. You have a system where they're going to, base it around the star players or key players, and make sure that plays are designed for them to get open and get touches. And then you have the offense kind of like what Stefanski's running, where it's more about those players fitting within that system, and you don't necessarily key on one guy. You pretty much go through your progressions, and then you hit whoever the first read is, or then who's ever open when you go down to your progressions. And he was saying that's most likely where that disconnect is coming from, because OBJ does like to freelance at times on some of his routes. So, man, it's just, I hate that we're at this point again. Something else I had a problem with too, and I said I wasn't going to talk about the Steelers game because it's past, but I got one thing to say, and I knew we were going to lose when I saw this. And before I even say that, man, before we, started the show tonight, I was going to go on this long rant and diatribe about my feelings about what's going on, and I decided against it. I said, I'm not even going to waste my time going through all of that, because I'm just like disgusted. It's like I'm not going to go through all the dramatics and all of that. But here's where I knew we were going to lose that game. Your biggest rival is in town. You know that they're coming in with a chip on their shoulder after we beat them in the playoffs. And you niggas have the audacity to be running around in Halloween costumes before the game. Now, some people say that's not a big deal. It's Halloween. Yes, it is a big deal, because these weren't just regular. These were elaborate costumes. So instead of Myles Garrett throughout the week saying, hey, I can't wait to get my hands on Big Ben, this Negro was saying, man, I'm going to kill him with this costume. Especially with all the intricate details and stuff they put all that time into that, instead of putting their time into focusing on Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh didn't do anything fancy. We got out physical. I'm not about to go and backtrack through that, but that's something where these guys are not focused on the right things. They think they're better than what they are again. They're reading their own press, feeling themselves, buying into the hype. And it takes, like, once you start winning, that's a target on your back. And for whatever reason, like the 2007 or 2008 Browns didn't understand that. Mm-hmm. This iteration of the Browns don't understand that. The 2018 was the 2018 Browns, 2019. The 2019 Browns
I
didn't understand that.
I don't know if you actually went and watched. I know you was probably a little bit upset to go back and watch it because you didn't want to go back and relive the show from Sunday. But I literally said on the show Sunday, the post-game show, that this Cleveland Browns team is, only thing we're missing, honestly, right now, is Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah.
This is that same 2019, we believe the hype, whatever. The worst part of that is, again, we thought we had gotten away from that. And just a little bit of touch into that Pittsburgh game, they came in and their coached them all week long. Their coaches coached them all week long on how they were going to approach this game. I don't know that our coaches have that same approach. Not saying that they don't coach guys. Not saying that they don't have all of the fancy schmancy words and the motivational speeches and all of that. I know they do all of that stuff. I've never played for a coach, really, and we talking about nowhere close to on a professional level. I've never played for a coach who didn't have something they thought they needed to tell me before a game or tell a group or whatever. So I know that these people are doing that. What I don't think is happening, I don't think it's translating, which makes me think in certain ways that there's more than one person that's disliking what's happening.
Yeah, like the drop passes, like you never see Jarvis drop balls like that, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Not, he's dropping pass every now and then, but not like that, and not in key situations.
No, that
So when stuff like that is happening, I know like stuff is not all hunky dory.
But I could honestly put Jarvis's situation. I could label that an anomaly.
Yeah.
Just because it's one of those things that I don't think he's ever had a game, at least while he was with us. He may have when he was down in Miami, but I don't believe he's ever had a game for us where he's had 2 drops in a game. And I definitely don't think he's ever had a game with us where he's had 2 drops and a fumble.
Right. Now, he's playing hurt too, but,
he's definitely hurt, but he's out there.
But we have a no excuse policy, on this show.
That thing that hit him in the hand on that third down, not the one that had a little bit of defense behind him. The third down, I think it was 3rd and 8 or something like that. Hit him right in the hands. You got to catch that, homie. And that's all. For me, all of these guys have a job. All of these guys have a job, and on every level, I see where cats really haven't been doing their jobs.
Right. And that's why people were trying to blame this person. I blame the whole team. Everybody's playing average. The only position group that I would give a high passing grade to is the running game.
It's the running game.
The running backs. And the offensive line. That's it. That's the only
number one running game. We got the number 1 running offense in the NFL. We have the number 10 overall offense in the NFL. We have the number 26 passing offense in the NFL. And like I was trying to tell some people during all of this fiasco, people were like, "Oh, well, that's because of Odell." Listen, man, every freaking problem is not because of Odell. And if the team if Baker ain't playing good because Odell's on the field and he's not throwing them the ball a lot, it's not like he's throwing them like 15 passes and the dude's only catching 2 passes. That's not what's happening. I know it feels like that. I know at times it even seems like that, but that's not what's actually happening.
No, I don't feel like that to me at all.
Listen, I'm saying this is what I was saying to other people. It may feel like that to you, but that's not what's happening. And if you're going to talk about the drop passes, which is fair, because again, we're talking about people who have a job. If you're a receiver, you're supposed to catch with your hands and catch those passes. So just like these guys are dropping passes, Baker's job is to throw the passes. I've never played quarterback on a very high level. We played it in the street. All of us have. I played point guard, which is similar to a quarterback. You have the ball the majority of the time, especially the way the game used to be played, where the point guard is the guy who brings the ball up. My job is to make sure that these guys get the ball in the right spots where they can shoot easily. They're comfortable. How do you like? Oh, you like? Okay, you like it up here like this on your alley-oop? Or you don't like to? Okay, that's what your job is. So if we're going to talk about how this guy ain't doing his job, let's talk about how this guy ain't doing his job, because he can't do his job without this guy.
Right, and that's a confusing part about everything. Well, I would be interested to see how they play against Cincinnati without having Odell out there.
I'm going to get into that because I got 2 theories about that.
But I want to see how that plays out. But I kind of should wait till it plays out before I make this statement. But I just don't understand. I just don't understand. Like, what is it about him being on the field that causes Baker to be so erratic? Now, I know one reason why he's erratic, injury notwithstanding, is I think because he's playing for that contract. He's not playing loose. He's playing not to make a mistake because he's not going downfield. He's double clutching. He's not being confident with his throws.
He's not just playing football. He's
right. Because here's the thing about Mayfield. This is my opinion on Baker Mayfield, and I think it's a fair opinion. A lot of people who don't like him at all are just calling him he's a bum. I never liked him. He's always been a bum. Blah 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 blah. That's not true. I've seen him like last year when he had like about a 5 to 6 game stretch where he was hot.
He was playing ball, man.
Playing confident, accurate. So I know that he can play. But it's something mental with him that makes him at some points in time where he just plays like he's uncomfortable. And that's the thing that worries me, like what is causing that? So that's why I'm interested in seeing when he doesn't have Odell out there Sunday to see what, how he plays.
That's I mean, it's funny that you would say that way. Because unfortunately, we only have 2 games this season where Odell didn't play and Baker did play. And, in those particular games, Baker, I mean, again, he hasn't, to be honest, he hasn't looked awful all year. He just hasn't done anything to make you say, hey, I can see why this guy's the quarterback.
Right. I mean, he looked good against KC. He looked good against KC, and then he was much above average against Houston. Like he did what he had to do against Houston for us to win that game.
He was solid against KC because again, that's a game where you don't have no touchdowns.
Here's my thing about that though. In fairness,
you can't have 29 points and you didn't throw a touchdown.
Well, hold on. In fairness, the Browns have like more rushing touchdowns than like the whole league. You know what I'm saying? So
I didn't say he needed to have 5 touchdowns. He didn't have no touchdowns, bro.
No. What I'm saying is a lot of that is from the run. You get down there, the guy they're actually doing what we want them to do is run the ball when they get down there.
I'm not complaining about them running the ball in the red zone. I'm not talking about none of that. You are playing for the contract, not me.
No. All I'm saying is though that's going to skew that number just a little bit. I'm not excusing everything, but
I don't care if he has 5 touchdowns in the game. He don't need that.
That's what I'm saying. But those rushing touchdowns are going to skew some of those numbers. Like how many rushing touchdowns did they have that game though?
I understand that part of it, Sean. This man didn't have no touchdowns. I don't need him to have 5 a game. He could and should have at least 1.
Now, to me, it all depends on how the game flows because I don't care.
Officially we have 4 in that game, 4 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, so if it just so happens that if he's missing guys in the end zone that game, I have a problem with that. If it just so happens they got down there and they just happened to run it in, and he didn't have the opportunity to do it,
I'm fine with
it. Then it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with that. So
I'm fine with that. But if
it depends to me. It just depends on how the game. I don't want to kill him for not having no touchdown passes if he didn't have it.
That's the crazy part. I'm not killing him. I'm being honest. He ain't had no touchdowns. He need to throw a touchdown. You're a quarterback. Throw a touchdown. We lost that game by 4 points. You know what could help? You throwing a touchdown.
No, that's not fair.
Listen, fair. If you let me finish my sentence and stop trying to defend this guy, and I'm not killing him. I'm not
defending him. I'm just trying to, but that's not fair.
It is fair.
No, it's not. That's not fair.
I didn't say that we lost the game because of him. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not blaming him that we lost the game. What I said is he's the freaking quarterback, so he don't need to throw no touchdowns all year.
That's not what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying opposite of that. And I'm not saying opposite of that. What I'm saying is he needs to throw some touchdowns. He needs to throw some touchdowns. He can't keep having
he
games
needs to
where
throw
he
them
doesn't
when
throw a
they're
touchdown.
there.
Huh?
He needs to throw them when the opportunity presents itself.
The opportunities have presented themselves, and he hasn't done that, Sean.
I'm talking about the KC game. I'm not talking about the rest. I'm talking about that game in particular.
I'm sure he had an opportunity, but if you listen, man, stop it. So he need to have some touchdowns. He came out of that game with 312 yards and no touchdowns on what was it, 28?
Yeah,
21,
but what difference does it make if you run it in or you throw it in? You just want to score, right?
Listen. He should have a touchdown. He's a solid quarterback.
I mean, why? I mean, I don't understand. Like, why is that a big deal?
You scored 29 points. You telling me you can't? Okay. So let's just disagree because we'll go back and forth over that.
I'm saying, I don't care how they just get the damn touchdown. I don't care who get it.
And I don't care who get it either. I ain't saying he got to get it, but he should have one.
You just said he did. You just said he need to get it.
I said he needs to throw a touchdown. A touchdown? Am I asking too much to want my quarterback to throw a touchdown?
What if he don't have the opportunity to throw one?
I didn't say the right guard needs to throw a touchdown. I didn't say the defensive end needs to throw a touchdown. My quarterback, this supposed guy who wants $40 million a year, should throw a touchdown. That's all.
But we scored 4 on the ground. What difference does it make?
He should throw a touchdown, man. He should throw a touchdown. He threw it. He listen, you know what he shouldn't throw? You know what, when I do want to see zeros? It's the picks. He really hasn't turned the ball over in terms of picks. I can appreciate that. I'm not going to tell you he can't go a game without getting a pick. I know that some shit happens.
Look, so I don't care.
I'm not killing the dude.
I don't care how they score now. Now, I do get concerned when he missed guys, and when you miss easy touchdowns in the end zone.
And he does that often.
And he has done that. Now, those are the ones I'm concerned about.
For me,
like as long as you.
And I don't want to go. Didn't we just say we weren't going to go back to Pittsburgh?
Oh,
but
go ahead.
To Hooper. That should have been a touchdown. Hooper should have caught that. However, the ball was strong. It wasn't a well-placed ball.
It wasn't a well-placed ball.
So it's like it hit you in the hands. You got to catch that hoop. You got to catch that hoop. But if Hoop got to catch that, fake. Just like put a little something to where this dude just kind of is easy.
Right.
But again, like you said, to your absolute point, or to your point, absolutely rather, he's pressing. And I don't get why he's pressing so hard, because it just hit me while you were talking a little bit ago. He's then already picked up the 5th-year option. So even if you don't get the contract, at the end of this season, you're going to get the contract. You may not get it.
I think his salary escalates next year anyway to something like 18, 19 million, something like that.
Yeah. So you don't have to play like man, if I don't get this, we ain't gonna be able to buy that house that I want.
But he's pressing too to prove people wrong.
But listen, bro, he supposedly that's his shtick, right? To be the guy who is the walk-on guy everywhere he's gone. He's proved everybody wrong every step of the way. So this should be second nature. It shouldn't be something that he has to ramp himself up to do. And and not to mention, I'm not going to leave this out, not to mention the dude is hurt. So he's hurt. The offensive line has been jacked up. And we've already seen that Baker before. That Baker was the 2019 Baker that held the ball too long, that thought about it too long, that didn't throw the ball away, that didn't slide. And we're seeing that same Baker right now.
Right.
So I think all of that stuff is playing
shit and talking about injury. And like the Browns get hurt every other play, somebody limping off the damn field.
And listen, how my man come back from the knee injury and dislocate his elbow? It'd be different if he just hurt his knee again. You gave this dude got a whole nother injury. Yep. So it's tough on that end. But a lot of those sacks, like even in that, I don't think they intended to show this, but even in the video that came out where he was missing Odell, had he hit it was other people that were open on those plays. And he's waiting for like this perfect, like you were saying, he's waiting on like this perfect throw. So I don't make this mistake. And in waiting for that perfect throw, you give the pass rush time to get to you, which now he's scrambling and running and spinning. And now he's not eyes focused downfield, et cetera, et cetera. So like it's all starting to work against him and how he's playing. Now, I want to move a little bit past those two guys, OBJ and
Okay.
and I want to talk about Kevin Stefanski because, and even some of the front office, these guys had to see some of this coming. They had to see, they're too smart. Andrew Berry and those guys are too smart to kind of not see some of this coming. I know they ain't see it like this. Nobody really saw this part of it. But I mean, seeing that this dude was going to be disgruntled, seeing that this guy was going to be frustrated, and to be honest with you, I can't blame him from this standpoint. I don't like what they did. I don't like how they put that out there. I don't like that it caused issues within and show that there's issues within the organization. But we got to talk about the issues now, right?
What do you think would have happened if that tape never came out?
I think that it would have been less issue. It would have been less of an issue because the tape basically it's an indictment on Baker. And it's also because here's what I got out of the tape. This is one of the reasons why the tape kind of scared me and left me feeling kind of despondent, left me kind of feeling like I don't know what to do next. Because the stuff that I saw on the tape, one of two things is happening here, and it's Baker. Either this dude cannot hit wide open receivers, which is a problem, or this guy is purposely and purposefully not trying to throw to somebody who's wide the hell open. Both of those are a problem. I don't think it's the second one, just to be clear. Just to be clear, I don't think it's that he's purposely not throwing OBJ the ball. However, I do know that there may be some people telling him not to force it to OBJ. So
yeah, I was just about to say that, like subconsciously.
Yeah, like, but I don't think he's just like, I ain't throwing it to his ass. I think he's probably like, I think I can get it, but no, I'm gonna hit this guy right here. So he's still doing it in essence, but I don't think he's going out there with the plan, like he's putting on his helmet, like I'm not throwing a 13. I don't care what happens.
Yeah, because it was stupid. Even a game when I think OBJ's first game back, he had something like 5-6 catches for about 70, 80 yards. Mm-hmm. People was coming on the radio talking about, yeah, he was forcing it to Odell. I'm like, no, he was like, regular throws. Right.
Those are regular throws. But,
and
you know,
of all, like these players, y'all need to stop listening to the media, social media.
They can't. It's too late.
Or even if you do listen to it, just like shake that off. It's like, God,
bro, them cats they are not built like we were built. Their skin is not as thick.
One thing, were they born into that though? They born into the computer.
Yeah,
internet
for sure.
generation.
Like I don't understand this whole cyberbullying. I don't know what the heck that is.
Yeah,
I'm like, shoot. If you say something to me on the computer, I'm like, all right, bet I'll be outside in the field in like 20 minutes. You want to see me?
Right.
We ain't got to go back and forth through no text message. We don't have to go back and forth through no Facebook. We could just talk about it outside. I bet you ain't finna do that.
Right.
You know, but it's a different dynamic with these guys. And it's they can't. Like they can't. Like when I saw Baker put out something about, you know, when we get to the stadium, we need the fans and we need y'all to be. I was like, man, shut up and study your book and get ready for the game. You want us to cheer? Do something to make us cheer, bro. That's when we're gonna cheer anyway because it's the Browns versus Steelers. Like
Right.
the stuff that you're talking about, like them coming in costumes and up. Don't tell me what to do as a fan. I already know what to do. I need you, Mr. Quarterback. And listen, I don't need you not to make commercials. Do your thing. That's your free time. I know you're not making commercials when you should be practicing, like some other goofballs think. Make your commercials, make your money, get them chips, bro. But don't tell the fans what they need to do, man. Just go play football. And if you play football in these here Cleveland streets and do it well, you ain't never got to tell us to cheer when you somewhere, anywhere. We gonna make sure that we do it. Just go do it.
Exactly.
Just go do it. And that's not me being a jackass. That's just me being honest. Most of us already like you. The people who don't like you, it don't matter what the hell you do. They ain't gonna like you anyway. And that's what I was saying about OBJ. OBJ ain't did nothing or said nothing or been loud or been crazy. He ain't got into a fight with the practice field goal net. He ain't done none of that stuff while he was here. These cats couldn't wait for one thing to happen wrong for them to be like, I told you he wasn't shit. I told you, man, stop it. Stop. Because when he wasn't doing anything, you continued to say he was doing something with no proof. With no proof. But, like once a thief, always a thief. Once an alcoholic, always alcoholic.
Right.
Once a malcontent, always a malcontent.
And here's another reason why I hate that we back in this position. Even before this video came out, the Browns just have been playing well. Because now I got to have dumbass conversations with random people out in public when I have my Browns gear on.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because people just automatically stop me. Hey, what's wrong with them? And then they go on this. And most of the time, and then the first thing that come out their mouth is, we got to get rid of Baker. That's what I hear. Sometimes it's Odell.
I was going to say it's one
another time it's Baker. But this I go to my local Dave's, which I hate, by the way. I can't stand Dave's, but it's close. That's another story. So the security guard, as soon as I walk in, security guard, and he actually calls 92.3 all the time. I think his name is Larry the Motivator.
Oh yeah. Oh man, you got to be kidding.
Yes. He's the security guard at my local Dave's.
Hey man, ain't no way on earth I'm talking to Larry the Motivator on the street. I'm not doing it.
The first thing out of his mouth, man, Baker Mayfield racist. I'm like, man, I was like, where you get that from? Because he ain't throwing Odell on purpose.
Like,
right? But I'm like, but he throws to Jarvis and Higgins. So what you mean? You know what I'm saying? But that's an example. That's the stupid shit that I got to deal with now because the Browns want to act a fool.
Hey, that is hilarious. Man.
It's the days over there in Checker Square.
That's true. No, that's true because that's just how it is. You have on all your stuff, and I'm downtown a lot, so I'll go downtown. I'm downtown Monday morning, and the first thing I grabbed, because it was a little chilly Monday morning, I just grabbed a hoodie off the coat rack and threw it on. And I'm driving to take my kids to school, and I looked down. I happened to look down, and I said, man, I can't believe I got this on right now. Like, the day after that game, I didn't feel like being all browned out. However, I was browned out. I had on a Browns sweatshirt. So as soon as I got downtown, I walked across the street to get some coffee. And I walked in, and there was like 5 people in line, and all of them were like, oh, I know you're upset. I wasn't thinking about it until you just said something. Like,
right.
I don't know if I look like I want to talk about Browns all the time, but it feels like people think I want to talk about the Browns all the time. Dude walked up the same way. Yeah, man, they pissed me off, man. I know you mad too. I don't want to talk about it though, bro. I talk about it as I try to save my talk for this stuff so that I don't go berserk because if I talk about it too much, then I don't want to talk about it at all. Like,
right.
so.
But you were going to make a point about Stefanski before we went off the rails there a little bit.
Yeah. So I feel like these guys should have saw a lot of this coming. And I think they should have tried to move this dude before the trade deadline. Like, I think it's part of me that feels like they didn't want to do it because they didn't want to hear the rumblings in the building. So they were trying to like work it out maybe, or trying to make it, work somehow. But at this point, Stefanski kind of pissed me off on Monday when they were like, "Oh, well, Odell only got the one target. How does this dude only get the one target?" And he was like, "Oh, well, that's on me. I got to work harder, try to figure out a way to get him the ball." Listen, that was the stupidest statement out of all of the stuff that I had heard during the week, from after the game. Rather, what the hell do you mean? You 2 years into this, or a year and a half into this, and you've been with this guy for a year and a half. This ain't last year where you're still trying to figure it out. And we're in week 8, and you have to figure out a way to get this guy the ball. And that's part of my problem with him and this offense, because I don't think he means I got to figure out a way to get him the ball, because I'm sure he could draw up a play or a couple plays to get him the ball. I think what he means, he's so analytically inclined. He's like, well, how do I get him involved and not mess up how the game should be going for us, or the way I want to call this game? Because I don't really want to call that play.
But what he was doing last year before OBJ got hurt, he was getting them on sweeps, reverses, bubble screens, anything like that to try to get them involved early. He's not doing that at all this year. Matter of fact,
and that's what I mean. Like, what do you mean that you got to figure something out? No, you don't.
He doesn't even set none. When I think about it, and I could be wrong, I don't even remember OBJ like going in motion. I'm sure he does.
I don't,
but there's not much.
I think there's like shifts, but there's not like he comes from the left across to the right, and they call go right as this dude is getting set, so that the defense ain't totally set. But I don't think any of that stuff is actually happening. And watching this guy's footwork, when people say he's not elite, when people say he's not, he is not the same guy. Nobody is. I ain't the same guy I was last year. You just, as you get older, you're not the same guy. However, he doesn't have all the catches. He doesn't have all the flash. He doesn't have all the pop, but he's the best receiver that we have. There's nobody on the team with better footwork. There's nobody on the team who can run around better. And yeah, we do know that his kind of freelancing is a problem for the rhythm of the offense. But bro, if we running a play and I look up and this dude is 20 yards down the field, you mean to tell me you can't just look up and throw the ball? Just look up and throw the ball. So I'm always baffled by that kind of stuff. And again, I never played, so I don't know what intricacies go into this, but it doesn't seem like it should be that complicated. But I think Stefanski could do a better job, or could have done a better job of solving some of this, because he's got to know that his quarterback is under stress and pressure too. You the coach, you got to handle this shit. You got to get in front of these problems. You have to be the mediator at times. You might need to call OBJ into the office to have a meeting just to talk. What do you want to see in the offense? Like, what do you think is not happening? I'm quite sure he probably tried to talk to him, but I don't know that he wanted to have that conversation with him. Not that conversation. Not what do you think the offense is not doing for you, or how do you feel that? Because a lot of coaches ain't gonna have that. It's not like an indictment on Kevin Stefanski that he didn't want to have that specific conversation.
Right.
But if you want to have this team on the same page, or at least make it seem like you want them on the same page, sometimes you got to ingratiate yourself as the boss, as the field general guy. I'm calling the plays, bro. I think I like to see you do this and that, or the fifth. The other part of it is this offense has to get less rigid, man. It has to be more flexible. You have to start calling plays or at least utilizing what you do well more often. Baker Mayfield was hurt last week, and he stood in that pocket and threw 31 times. I think that's ridiculous. You also had a lot more 3 tight end sets because you was trying to protect your quarterback. Well, that hampers what you want to do on the field, which is why I said he shouldn't have started. If that's what you got to do, and now it bogs down the offense to the tune of 10 damn points, we can't do that in Cincinnati. So he has to stop being so analytically inclined. We done scored 14 points, 14 points, 17 points, and 10 points.
Right.
And 5 out of our last 4 out of our last 5 games. Your offense stinks right now, bro. And now you're doing it with one less able body. So It's interesting to see how going forward against Cincinnati, in this crazy road game that they got coming up, because on the heels of this week, going into that game, it's going to be interesting to see what levels of preparation, what levels of the energy, because here it is Thursday night, and I'm exasperated right now. I almost don't even want to see the game on Sunday. Like, and I don't mean I don't want to see the game, but I'm almost like I'm just freaking tired of the whole thing.
Yeah, I know one thing. I'll probably be at home watching this game. I kind of don't want to be out watching this game. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be so, like, on edge that people talking shit is going to piss me off.
Yeah,
when
and I don't want to.
It really is. It's going to piss me. Like, I need to be just at home, like in my own little bubble, watching this game.
I don't want to have to walk out of a bar and my way home from there.
Right.
I want to just be at home, and if I need to, just turn the damn channel if that's what needs to happen. But one thing is for certain, if 2 things ain't for sure. I watched Red Right 88 as a kid, and Kevin Stefanski was born the next year. I watched the fumble, the drive, and watched the Browns go back to a AFC championship game before Odell and Baker were born. What the hell does any of that mean? It means that I was a Browns fan before any of them dudes got on this planet. And I'm going to be a Browns fan after them dudes ain't nowhere on this team. So ultimately for me, where my loyalty rests, it ain't in no quarterback, and it ain't in no coach, and it ain't in no wide receiver. My loyalty lies
That's
with
what I feel. Yeah, people keep picking sides. I'm in this camp. I'm in that camp. I'm in the Cleveland Browns camp, like, period.
Right. And I'm going to be, no matter who's on this team. If I rooted and had my fingers crossed and wished the best for Pat Shurmur, I wanted to see Pat Shurmur win. He's terrible. But I wanted to see him win. I rooted for Chris Palmer. He was terrible.
Right.
But I didn't. So what I'm saying is, ain't none of y'all bigger than the entity that I actually root for. Because when y'all gone, I'm going to still be having on my Browns colors. I'm going to still be showing my goofy ass up somewhere on Sunday, whether it's my house or whether it's a bar or whether it's a friend's house or whether it's the stadium. I'm going to be doing those things because that's what I've always done. So I want to see my team win.
All right, RP, well, let me ask you this, since we're coming up on, I think we've been going maybe about an hour, 20 minutes, hour, 15 minutes. Yeah. Where do we go from here going into Cincinnati? I know you said you had a couple of theories how you thought that Baker how he would play. And
either after all of this has happened, this week. Either this team is going to go to Cincinnati and get blown out, or they're going to go down there and light it up. I don't really think it's going to be in between.
I feel the exact same way. I feel you. And the thing about it is, we're going to know how that game is going to go within that first, I won't say like the first quarter, but somewhere in that first half, we'll know exactly how this game is going to go and where their mind state is. Because I've always said, every time the Browns have some adversity, I said, you know what? You're going to see what your team is made up of and what your coach is made up of. Now, at one point in time, I thought that I knew what this team was made. Now I know I have no idea. And that's why I'm not going to make a prediction on this game, because I don't know. I don't know what team I have right now. I don't know who these guys are out here with all this stuff going on. I really don't. I don't know who they are right now. So they got to prove all over to me. Y'all got to show me who y'all are. I'm not making no prediction because I really don't know.
I tell you what, I said last week after the game in the post-game show that we weren't going to make the playoffs after that loss. And a lot of that was emotional, but honestly, I also backed that up by saying, oh, we still got 9 more games to play. Of course we could make it. We damn near have to go 6-3. And I'm not even sure we're gonna go 3-3 in the division at this point.
Yeah.
So after having a couple of days to manage my thoughts, I ain't too far off of that. Still kind of close to where I felt in that. But we have to win this game. And this is what happens when you don't approach every single game like a must win. Remember I said that a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, right.
I said that a couple weeks ago? Now you're in a do or die situation. Well, stop thinking that you got all right. It's nothing faster than a football season. It's like opening day, the season opener or whatever you want to call it, and then the next thing you know, it's week 8. It happens fast. So we're stuck in a must win in a really tough game against a pretty solid football team who's going to be a little bit pissed off themselves because they got waxed. And I'm only saying waxed because nobody expected them to lose that game.
If you lose to the Jets, you get blown out whether you lose by 1 or you lose by 30. So they got whacked. So and now you put yourself in the corner. We got to go down in that beehive. Literally limping into that stadium, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Now, in years past, I've seen my team go and win games like that. Well, we don't know how they're gonna do it, what they got to do to pull it off. Everything's stacked. Now, I've seen the Cleveland Browns do that before, but I got to see this iteration of the Browns do that.
And the question is,
they got to show me. They have to show me who they are. If they go in there and lay down, and that lets me know exactly who they are. I ain't saying that if they lose, it's short, but it's how they lose. You go in there and you lay down and you don't fight, and you give up. And you let them exactly know like what you are and what you stand for right now.
You have to. Like we don't have opportunities to figure out what we think or feel.
Because Stefanski said something that I was surprised to hear him say because he's so scripted. He said, we're fighting for our lives. He's right. He normally doesn't talk like that.
Well, you know what happened? Part of what happened is the stuff that's been going on this week. Like this week is a different kind of week, so he might have to be a little more demonstrative to do the smoke and mirrors to keep everybody from focusing over here on the left.
Yeah.
So I gotta say something different. Baker, I was cracking up because I worked union jobs before. Baker was supposed to do his normal press conference yesterday, and they postponed it. And when they said they postponed it, I was like, oh, I know what happened. They was like, Baker, come here. Come in here and sit down. Like, union rep showed up and had to tell him exactly what to say and exactly what not to say. Like, we can't have you saying this. We can't have you saying that. We can't. You tell your wife to delete those tweets and those likes on those tweets. We need you, and she did. We need you to do all these things. We need you to hit all these marks. And he did. Everybody's like, oh, Baker did a really good job. Baker only did a really good job because he had to think about that. The PR folks got his behind together.
Yeah, the one thing
a lot of what's happening is happening because
right.
of the CBA. Like Odell is doing this by the letter of the CBA, which is why he keeps showing up to practice. They can't suspend him for something that his dad put out because they didn't know that he did it. He didn't do it. Even if he said, Dad, do that for me. Which I don't know if anybody knows anything about black fathers in sports. I don't necessarily think that Odell signed off on it. I think his dad was like, hey man, F this. You ain't finna keep doing my kid wrong. I've seen black dads do things. Not that, but just go off. That's one of the reasons why I don't want to coach. It's because of parents. I don't want to coach because parents is nuts. So you can't have those dynamics happen. But that's what happened. Now you got this guy off the team. What you have to do now, as the Browns, is circle your wagons, go down here to Cincinnati, and try to figure out how to score in the fourth quarter for the first game in the last 3 or 4 games. You haven't scored in the fourth quarter. We're going to need to beat for the fourth quarter. I don't know how we're going to do that because we haven't shown that we can score more than 17 points.
Right. And memo to Joe Woods, man, stop being a punk, please. Stop all this soft ass shit. I can't take it no more, man. It's like he mad inconsistent. Like stop.
They better be ready this week because Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd is gonna like and Joe Burrow is gonna light y'all asses up.
Yeah, I'm like y'all sit there and let that old decrepit, fat, slow 85-year-old quarterback stand in the pocket all day. I'm like, y'all ain't gonna bring no pressure.
You ain't bring no blitz.
Y'all ain't gonna bring no blitz on this, none. I'm like, come on, Joe Woods. And you playing off their receivers. They didn't have no speed out there. You playing off the receiver? I'm like, come on. Like every time I saw Greedy Williams start backpedaling, I'm like, all they gonna do is run 3 yards, turn around and catch the first down. I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah,
y'all like, come on.
They don't have Pittsburgh don't have any real speed. And
it's like get y'all
the other guy, Deontay, what's his name? Deontay Johnson.
I don't know that bastard's name. What are you talking about?
He's only decent. He's only decent. He's not Juju Smith. At least Juju Smith is more than decent. So y'all got beat by a bunch of regular guys. These guys y'all going to see on Sunday, they are not regular guys. These guys are actually really good ball players. They got a gunslinging quarterback. The plus side, they give up about 2.5 to 3 sacks a game. So we know that we can touch Joe.
Yeah, Cincinnati's offensive line is awful, which means that Joe Woods ain't gonna blitz again. That's all that means.
Well,
he ain't gonna use that to his advantage.
He's not gonna blitz because he's scared of them damn wideouts. We've already said that. When they face those teams where he has a little bit of a threat, he don't send no extra pressure because he wants to put everybody in space, only for them to give up a 200-yard touchdown to a guy running wide open.
Right. You know what I mean? It's like, look, Browns, I need y'all to get this together. Like seriously, I need y'all to get y'all act together. Like for real. Because I'm on the verge of going back in my little cubby hole where it was safe, where I was back in 2015.
And this is going to be a boring-ass podcast. If the Browns lose this game on Sunday, especially if they lose and they get blown out, it's going to be a boring-ass podcast for the rest of the year. Because
I ain't going to have nothing else to say.
I mean, what else am I going to say? Look, We're gonna be on the podcast talking about, did you watch the game? Nope.
Right. Well, what I will do is start focusing my energy on teams that decided they actually want to play hard, like the Cavs. Now, I dogged the Cavs all off season, and it's still fool's gold. It's only a matter of time before, because they're doing exactly what I said. I said they're going to knock off some teams they ain't supposed to early because everybody ain't playing hard. It's going to look really good, but then once they start playing hard, because you can see it now, like anytime a team starts pressing the Cavs and put that pressure on, they kind of fall apart. That's neither here nor there. But they're playing hard. I enjoy watching them. I'll put my energy behind the Cavaliers if the Browns decided they want to tank the rest of this season. They had like a bunch of bitches. I'll just go ahead and put my energy behind the Cavaliers. Also, on the side note, real quick, so I know we got to wrap this thing up soon. The Indians are being sued by the roller derby team that has the name of I hope they lose that lawsuit. I really hope the Indians lose. That's right, so they can pick a better name. I just needed to say that to get my mind, because I was about to go down a dark path with the Browns.
I don't think they're gonna get sued like that. I think what's gonna happen is, and they want, I think, with the roller derby team. I mean, this roller derby team was worth about, I don't know, $6,000.
They want a check. That's all they want.
Yeah, that's all it is. They just want a check because I don't think the name is trademarked. However, everything that the Indians want to do with the logo and stuff like that is almost the exact same thing.
Right. So, like they said, the roller derby team said that the Indians offered them $8,300 before all this stuff popped off, and said that's what pissed them off and made them.
Well, listen, once again, the team is worth $6,000. They gave you $2,000 worth of value for that. Who the hell even watches roller derby, bro?
I didn't even know we even had a roller derby team.
I know, I didn't either. Nobody knew.
They probably play in the school cafeteria somewhere.
And they got, or the Catholic Church, back in the basement, right? You got people in the front playing bingo, and they got the roller derby in the back.
So, but I just kind of threw that out there, man, because I was about to go on a dark path with the Browns, and I said I'm not going to do that. So I'm not going to go down that road.
I didn't want to go crazy today. I've been going crazy most of the week with this stuff, talking people off the ledge, trying to tell people there's way more going on than just these two guys. This dude's father did this, but y'all don't say nothing about Baker's wife. Yada yada. Just like, it's just one thing after another thing. It ain't all Baker. Why do y'all hate Baker? Ain't that great, but Baker ain't that bad. Unfortunately, I've come up with a nickname for Baker the way he's playing right now. And a part of that is this offense that he's in. I call him Basic Mayfield.
You know what, too?
And it's if I could get the rookie guy that was here, that was being compared to Brett Favre, this ain't Brett Favre. Yes.
Right, no, not at all. Brett Favre didn't give a damn. He wasn't worried about nothing. He's like, Brett Favre was just gonna play. What's weird too, like, even in that Pittsburgh game, those last two drives, he was actually making the throws and putting them where they had to be, and then everybody decided that we just dropping everything today.
I didn't want to catch that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, because I was watching the game with my dad and my uncles and stuff like that, right? And they are all anti-Baker. And so soon as the balls, so when he was throwing the balls and they were incomplete, they was like, see, he ain't putting the ball there. And I'm like, no, he put those balls there. And they showed the replay. They're like, oh yeah, he did. They just dropped it. But I just say that to say this. That's just the weirdness of the season where nothing is in sync. So when he is putting the ball there, they ain't catching it. And then other times he's just being erratic and and off and unconfident. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
That's a problem too. He can't do all of that. The dude can't.
You can't. Right. He's just all over the place. So we just down the Browns are painting into a corner. They have to go down to Cincinnati and win this game. It's going to be the absolute zoo. They call that stadium the jungle. That's exactly what it's going to be Sunday. It's going to be loud. It's going to be rowdy. And
I already got Cincinnati fans texting me, asking me, am I coming? All this kind of stuff. I'm not coming down there.
no, I'm not going out.
And,
Do you know, like, for the simple facts, I don't, and this is going to sound real negative, and some people will call me a fake fan for saying this. The reason why I wouldn't go to a game like this right now, somebody even gave me some tickets, because if we lose, that'll be the worst ride.
it's too far to come back home.
Yeah, that'll be the worst ride back home like ever.
I just had to do that on Sunday, coming back from the Pittsburgh game. Like it was the worst walk, and I'm walking back, of course, in a sea of just stupid Pittsburgh black and gold.
It's like I don't mentally. I can't handle that right now. I'm gonna sit here in the comfort of my own home.
Just a couple miles from home. We go our ass all the way down to Cincinnati.
Matter of fact, I'm cooking a big Sunday dinner for the fam. I'm gonna cook some greens, a roast. I'm cooking like a big ass dinner
to make sure you're at home.
Right. So we lose. I know I got a nice home cooked meal.
That's
waiting
funny.
on me, a nice comfort meal to kind of help me make me feel better. If these bastards go down here and get their ass beat by Cincinnati, because I'm telling you that I've been cool. Like after the Pittsburgh loss, I was cool Monday morning. I was cool up until the point when all this stuff jumped off. But if we lose to Cincinnati, we pretty much get eliminated from the playoffs, and we still got half the season to endure. Yeah. I'm not going to be in a good space. No, I'm not. It's simply that I'm not going to be in a good space. No, mentally, I'm going to be grumpy. I'm going to be pissed off. I'm going to be an asshole. Period.
Yeah, it done did this to me.
That's how it's been times for like my female friends or ex-girlfriends. It's like, I don't like being around you on Sunday. and I actually put that guy to the side. I killed that guy, but he's been resurrected.
So he about to come back.
Yeah, he's back. No, he's back because all this nonsense that's going on. He's back.
Because if this goes left, like we need to win to at least allow us to have another week of potentially talking about something. Because if they lose it, I'm telling you, bro, if they lose this game, they have to go 4-2. You got to go 4-2 in this division to even think about winning this division. Right. So if we lose this game, we've already got our 2. We got to win 4 straight, 2 against Baltimore, 1 in Pittsburgh, and then beat the team that just or might possibly beat us on Sunday. What are the odds?
Right.
What are
and
the
really,
odds?
As it stands right now, you really almost have to win a division to get the damn playoffs right now.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because of the hole we're gonna put ourselves in.
We couldn't buy a tiebreaker. They don't look. They don't want to buy Odell out this damn contract. You know they ain't talking about no tiebreaker. They worried about $8 million. Man, if you don't get that dude $8 million so he can get the hell on somewhere, so that whole thing is just done, I think you're doing worse letting him linger around. That's just retarded. I say retarded every week, but it's always something.
Yeah, I wonder what their thought process is behind that too.
They don't have no leverage, bro. They ain't got no leverage. Pay the dude.
I mean, he really don't either. Neither neither party has leverage. But
he got more leverage than they do.
You know,
he got more leverage.
Now, Josina Anderson was on KNR. I didn't know KNR got this weird bootleg show that comes on at 5, like after Emmett and Gerard go off. It was like a waste of time, but anyway, they actually were able to get Josina Anderson on, right? And that's basically Odell's conduit. That's kind of who he's speaking through. So she said that. The very last question asked, like, well, how do you see this ending? Can you see a reconciliation? And she said something interesting. Yeah, she was like, yeah, you could possibly see Odell back with the team on Saturday if they talk this thing out. So, like, I'm wondering, like, are the Browns actually really considering trying to reconcile
bro.
and bring up? Because she said that, and it's probably just PR, and maybe Odell has to say this. She was like, he's just waiting for them to tell him he can come back to the facility.
Well, it is PR. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's part of the whole. Again, that's why I said Baker was talking to a union rep. He was basically being talked through the legalese. Like he couldn't go out there and say like the team don't need him and stuff like that. He can't say that.
Yeah.
If we go out there and say that, it goes against the whole CBA. Now we in a bad spot. So we got to make sure you say the right
stuff. He can file a grievance and stuff because technically, Odell hasn't done conduct detrimental to the team. He hasn't done anything. Yeah.
So that's why they can't suspend him for and that's the only thing they can suspend him for right now would be conduct detrimental. He hasn't done anything. So, but if let's say he got sent home yesterday from practice and then he didn't show up to practice today, they could deem that, well, you ain't showing up to practice. That's conduct that's conduct detrimental to the team, or we're going to inactivate you since you didn't show up to practice. Nope, I'm gonna show up. I'm coming to work. I'm coming to work again. No, we got to send you home. So they got to keep sending him home. Now, do you want to do that 5 days or 4 days a week, 3 days a week for the next 9 weeks? Just retarded. They're going to still have to pay him. So either pay the dude, send him home, or since that's not what you want to do, nobody really would like to do that. Just let the dude go. Because if you're waiting on a team to say, like every week they got to pay this dude like $800,000 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you keep him this week, you pay him the $8. Well, he's already going to get this $800 for this week. So that takes off a little bit more of his salary that he's owed for the season. I think what the Browns hope is it gets down low enough that some other team will say, okay, we'll take him at that price and we'll pay the rest of that for this season. The crazier part is, who the hell would say that? Why would I pay to get this dude off your hands when you should just get him off your hands and he can come walk over here to us?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So the Browns are in a worse spot than Odell, because Odell could just go home, and guess what? Going home and not playing and not practicing means he's healing up. So even if he don't play again until next year, now y'all gonna trade him.
Man, look at this shit. They just put up the playoff picture, and we in the hunt with New England, Denver, and Indianapolis. It's fucking embarrassing.
We are theoretically.
I know, but we ain't supposed to even be over on that side of the damn board.
We not.
Those days supposed to be, you know what I'm saying? Those days of being in the hunt is supposed to be over with. And when the hell did Josh Johnson get back in the league?
Hey, you got to play better football. You got to play better football. I'm seeing more inspiration right now out of the New York Jets than I'm seeing out of the Browns in the last 2 or 3 games. I'm just being honest.
Right.
I'm just being honest. I just see more inspiration, and they don't even have decent players.
No, look, they don't have these decent players, and they got ugly ass uniforms. They look like them fucking sour apple blow pops. That's what they look like. Them ugly ass uniforms.
Yeah, man. So listen, man. Let's. I'm gonna ask you one more question before we get the hell out of here.
Okay.
Seriously, what do you think? Do you think we're gonna win this game on Sunday? Gut feeling, just gut.
My gut feeling says no. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I don't know who my team is right now. But really, with all the stuff that's going on right now, I don't know how the hell you can go into that beehive with a hurt quarterback, defense playing like shit, and a pissed off Cincinnati Bengals team that really they got, and the reason why they lost to the Jets because they was looking past them to this game anyway, because they tired of losing to us because we kind of had their number the past couple of years.
Yeah, they're feeling good about themselves.
Right.
Yeah, they was tried. And they, and this was a trap. Actually, I guess it was a classic trap game.
Right.
But
I'm telling you right now, I haven't been like, since we were in the playoffs last year, I haven't really kind of been on edge for a game like in a while, where I'm just kind of just like, man. But this game, I'm on edge. Like I said, to the point where I have to watch this game kind of by myself in my own bubble. I don't want nobody around me doing this. I don't want nobody around me. I need to concentrate on this game and figure out, and hopefully some way get this thing alive. I'm dead serious. I'm not exaggerating. No, y'all probably think I'm crazy out there, but like that's another reason why I'm pissed, because in 2005, I was comfortable. Being in my little hole. After the Johnny Manziel fiasco, I said, I'm emotionally detaching myself from my team. They're still my favorite team. I still got season tickets, but I will no longer invest emotionally in this piece of shit team for right now until they decided they're going to get better. Then they decided they wanted to give me hope, which caused me to emotionally invest in my team again. And now they pulling the same shenanigans all over again.
That's the same.
It's pissing me the hell off. I'm not in a good place sports-wise. I'm just talking sports. It's just the game. Other things in life that are way more important. So just strictly sports-wise, I am not in a good place right now. And if they lose this game Sunday, it's going to take me over the edge. It's going to take me right off that cliff. And after I had vowed to never go there, I said, I'm never going to get to the point where I used to be as a Browns fan.
You about to be there.
Yeah, they about to take me. I'm standing on the 480 bridge right now. I'm on the 480 bridge. I'm about to take that leap. That's where they have me right now. And this is not a good feeling. I don't know how we're going to win this game Sunday. I don't
know either, bro.
I really don't know how we're going to win this game Sunday. I mean, I'm going to need some Valium or Xan. I'm going to need some type of drugs really on Sunday to keep my nerves down.
I do agree, because I don't think we're going to win. Personally, I said that last Sunday, and I don't really think anything has changed. But surprise me, Browns.
Yeah,
surprise me. Go down here and beat the brakes off these guys and just surprise me. Let's see what happens.
Show some heart. Now I know Chubb is going to show up.
I mean, Chubb is Chubb.
Chubb is going to show up. I know the offensive line is going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Now the rest of these jokers, I have no defense. Defense. Create some turnovers that mean something. Y'all ain't created one meaningful turnover all season.
Nope.
Not one.
Not one.
Not one meaningful turnover have you caused all season.
This would be an awesome time for it, though. I tell you that.
Damn right.
Awesome time for it. So,
look.
Also, Mr. Kevin Stefanski, I know you're going to call a good, opening drive. You tend to
scripted plays,
all your scripted plays and stuff. However, after your scripted plays have run out, put your placards down and ask for a little bit of help from somebody else, because you're pretty decent 20-20, man. But sometimes you get in these situational football spots, your fourth downs, which we're terrible at, by the way. I know you think analytically about them, but we're awful at fourth downs. The numbers, analytical stuff, the numbers say we stink, and we also stink on third down, which is why we got so many fourth downs. So maybe you should work harder on third downs. Don't worry so much about fourth downs. And in the red zone, if we got down there by running, let's just run the damn ball in. If we got down there by passing, let's try to fool them a little bit, but we can't come out of there with no points.
and kick the damn field goal if
Kick the
necessary.
damn field. That's all. Simple
We
stuff.
we cannot have any empty red zone drives. Nope. You got to be 7 or they got to be 3.
Nope.
7 to 3.
And by the way, Chase McLaughlin has kicked a 57-yard field goal this year. So he's pretty solid. There's no reason to not utilize this dude. He's the healthiest kicker in the league because he's only kicked about 4.
Yeah, his legs are very fresh right now.
His leg fresh as hell. So get a dude some run, let that guy play. Come on, Browns. Let's figure this thing out. Because y'all, here's what y'all don't want. Y'all don't want to lose the 2 of us. If y'all lose the 2 of us, well, listen, this show will never get picked up nowhere locally. You guys will be like, man, them dudes, nah, they got to stay where they at. We can't have them with no press pass.
Yeah.
Can't have them dudes with no press pass asking questions. Because it could get a little ugly with us. We ask too much regular stuff. So just go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and say it. The Browns probably won't win. I'm not even giving my score. I did have a score. I was thinking 28-20.
Okay.
Bengals was my score. Because they average about 30 points a game. And that's, I don't know if that's me being I hope they don't go down there and get blown out guy. I don't know if that's I know they're going to go down there and get blown out, but I'm just hoping they don't. I don't know which one. But I think 28-20 is a fair enough. Maybe I won't be so pissed off if they go out and play semi-hard and do something decent.
Man, go ahead and show me some heart that y'all got some type of fight about y'all. That's at the end of the day, that's kind of what I want to see. I want to win. We need to win. But just don't go down there and go out like Willie Lump Lump. I need y'all to go out there and show some type of heart, show some fight, some pride. Some pride.
Don't be basic Mayfield this week, bro. Go out there and be the guy that wants the $40 million.
And the thing that I'm gonna hate too, let's say he does have a good game, and then it'd be like, well, see, it's because of Odell. I mean, forget the whole Odell thing. You know, at this point, most likely it's not a Brown no more. Just forget all of that. If he has a good game, just praise him for having a good. I know that's not gonna happen, but just praise him for having a good game and leave it at that. Because this time we got to move on, especially this time of the season. I say we halfway through the season now. So, but anyway, I need to take my behind the bed so I can get up and go to my boring ass job in the morning and hopefully not fall asleep. So you can catch us on Facebook at 2 Guys on the Mic 216, Instagram 2 Guys on the Mic 216, Spotify 2 Guys on the Mic, Apple Podcasts, with a Google Podcast and Anchor and Spotify and all your streaming platforms that I can think of. And that's it. So we will see you Sunday. And that's that.
Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see you Sunday. And basically, you know, the way we think it's going to go, we'll basically be having a funeral. We may be eulogizing the 2021 Cleveland Browns Sunday afternoon. So we'll see you then, man. Hope you have a good rest of your week. Have a good weekend. Go Buckeyes, go Browns, go Cavs, and go Guardians, whatever the hell y'all name is going to be.
and the Guardian roller derby team.
Yeah, too. The roller derby squad. Yep. Peace out to them too. All right, man.
All right,
you have a good one.
Peace.